Yes, madam.
All right. So good morning once again. Today is our last session for your program. Is that correct?
Yes, madam.
Okay. So I'll quickly, this one is not me because I won't do the detailed work over here. But I'll quickly complete this and we do an overview of all that we have done. Then we look at possible areas for the exams. So today, we are going to look at contemporary issues and the future of human resource management. Now, I've given you an article. I'm asking you to refer to the article, meaning that take your time and read it. So what are the future trends? Even when we talk about future trends here, it's an underestimation because it's already happening. It's already happening. Some of the issues we are going to discuss or talk under to be seen as a future trends in the human resource concept, how it is done in the organization, be it small, medium, or large, or multinationals, are already happening. They are no longer future as we see them, but however, because it has not been assimilated by many organizations as now, we still will use the connotation future to mean that it's still something that is coming. However, it's already here. And so what should HR look for? And I've told you that some are already here. Now, there's one thing HR should be concerned about. Let's assume that in African settings, or in the Ghanaian setting, or in the Ghanaian context, these things can be seen as future trends. However, in the international organizations, some of these things are already happening. So the future trends in some countries, organizations must focus on employee experience. Now, under what can we have employee experience? Tell me. Under what? All the studies that we have done, when we talk about employee and experience, why do you think, which are the functions of HR do you see that it fits or sits into? Under what? Employee experience. Yes, tell me.
Madam, please, performance review.
Performance review. Yes, what else? Yes. Oh, this is a simple question.
Madam, training and development.
Training and development. Okay. Yes.
Okay.
Yes. Don't you see that it covers the entire functions of HR? Employee experience. So from recruitment to selection to onboarding to training and development to appraisal to all the factors we talk about, compensation, employee well-being, name them, to retirement, to succession planning, everything. And the employee, oh, please, the employee must have experience. And HR's future trends must focus on how the employee has an excellent experience working for the organization, working for the company. So it's an organization that's shifting their focus to improving the holistic employee experience. So universities want the student to have good experience, good memory of coming to study. Student experience. GCTU, one of our core values is that we are student-centeredness. We value our students and the valuable things we want our students to take out of their education. So, holistic employee experience. It says from recruitment to retirement. So, the whole experience, which is now important and looks to be a future trend for how HR should be seen to be running the organization, is employee experience. So from recruitment to retirement, the employee must have an excellent experience, a good experience, satisfactory experience, an experience that are valuable to boost engagement and retention. If you at recruitment, you experienced something bad, will you be happy to join the organization? If at the onboarding, somebody is so stern to you, would you be happy? Now, when it comes to rhetoric and reality, you find out that what they told you at the interview session and when you start the work is different. What will you do? It's a bad experience. So employers must ensure that employees has better experience. And examples are that personalized onboarding. When you come to the organization, the way you are simulated, it's something that is yourself-driven. You find out that, oh, there's a lot I can offer and also gain from this organization. So you being initiated or inducted or orientated into the organization, it's a self-driven, personalized onboarding. Then well-being programs. I think last week or so, we talked about some of the well-being when we're looking at employee retention, things that to attract, what the organization must do to attract and retain top tiers. And we'll mention some of them. The employee must have certain benefits, competitive benefits, fringe benefits that will make them happy to stay. And then workplace flexibility. We know that post-pandemic COVID-19 has brought in a lot of flexibility in the way we do our work. So that's one important thing to talk about when we are looking at future trends in HR. The second one is the rise of artificial intelligence. AI has come to stay. Even though technically you may not have all organizations to have accepted or even to talk about adoption. They have not even accepted this than to talk about adopting it. So HR AI is increasingly being used for talent acquisition, employee performance analytics, and predictive workforce plan. I'm sure that your subsequent courses, you are going to learn some of these in details. How AI is used to manage people in the organization. Now, we said that HR must now be data-driven. So you should have automated all your things, your functions, your employees and whatever, so that whatever you do is predictively planned. So predictive workforce planning is very important. And this is where HR is going. Some of the organizations have automation. Even the time you clock in and clock out, it's automated. There's a portal where if you want to go for a leave, or as stated there, you don't have to use paper. So there's more paperless. And then they have a system. Now, if you go to some of the hospitals, they have that automation. Go to University of Ghana Medical School, or Medical Center, whatever. Even the university hospital, they are all automated. From seeing the first point of call, the outpatient, to all the time throughout to get your medication, is automated. So HR is also rising up to AI and accepting AI issues to help us look for talents, to also assess employee performances, and also predict planning. So tools like AI-driven chatbots are enhancing candidates and employee interactions. Now, when you go to a certain site, who can explain chatbots to us very well? Who can explain chatbots to us? Yes. Can I have a volunteer to explain chatbot to us?
Madam, please, I want to explain. So the chatbot, is a chat, let me say, is a chat system. Let's say on a company's website. It's not individuals who are chatting, but they've integrated frequently asked questions into that system, so that when a client asks a question, then the AI would answer the client. And if sometimes the AI cannot answer the client, the AI will refer the client to humans. For example, if I've been connected to the chatbot, when a client is asking for a question, the AI can quickly refer that question to me or my other colleagues. Then we'll either call the client, but most of the time, the chatbot is such that an AI is chatting with the client, answering their questions.
Great.
Yeah.
And it's believed that these chatbots are enhancing candidate and employee interactions. So maybe a prospective candidate will go to your website, you have made some adverts and wants more information and gets. And it's believed that the organization is able to help and how they interact with employees. Thank you. So this is the second future trends. As I have explained, some people are already doing it, some are not doing it. So for some, it's a future trend. For others, it's already in place. Focus on skills over roles. Focus on skills over roles. Now, in our traditional setting, we value roles. What is his role or position? He is the managing director. A managing director who has no skills, competencies, abilities to run an organization. In this era of nepotism, where people and chronism, because you are my friend, I'll put you there. I'll give you a position which I know you have no competencies. Look at our political party. Sometimes it does happen. So the future trends of HR is moving away from roles, but your competencies, your skills, and your ability should take you there. And now because of AI, some skills need to be upscaling and rescaling. That's something important I also tell students. In this era, you need to find yourself, assess yourself. Where do I know to reskill? And where do I know to upskill? Apparently, it's the function of HR skilled or reskilled. So the focus on skills over roles is seen to be very important. It's not what you are, it's what you are bringing on board, your skills. So future workplaces are prioritizing, giving paramountcy to skill-based internal mobility programs instead of traditional roles. So now we have the LinkedIn where you give all your information about yourself, what you are capable of. Global Trends Report 2023 shows all these things. So this approach aligns talent with dynamic business needs. Upscaling and reskilling trait is the hybrid and remote work models. And this hybrid and remote work models seems to have been very significant during the pandemic and the post-pandemic. Our world has accepted and even normalized. This is what we are doing right now. We are doing, or we have a hybrid distant education program. So once in a while we do face-to-face, another time we do most of it online. That is the hybrid approach, hybrid. Or in all places now have accepted hybrid and remote work models. They have normalized them. So HR required to implement policies that ensure what? Productivity. So we have hybrid. Then a lecturer comes to teach and comes to talk about politics, comes to talk about religion, comes to talk about social issues, comes to talk about war. Those things would have defeated the purpose for the teaching if that is not the context. So HR must ensure that what you are asked to do remotely is fetching productivity. So HR has to have a policy that will ensure that there's productivity. And in our teaching, for instance, there could be a rep to assess, come to the class and assess that whether teaching is going on, whether it's a serious teaching model, or whether it's a like ethical attitude teaching model, anything to assess that there is productivity. And what we are saying is that HR must have policies. They must implement policies that are so somebody cannot say that I am working remotely and they're virtually doing nothing. The next one is the work-life balance. That somebody is not overwhelmed, they don't burn out, there's not too much work to be done, and then they fizzle out. Now, organizations are also investing in tools for virtual collaboration and communication. We have a Zoom app, Wk6. So we have it. We have invested in that so that our teaching, online teaching, will be smooth without hindrance. It's also used to do all kinds of communication with our international bodies, with outside the campus and all that, to ensure that the seamless communication system. So organizations are also investing in tools for virtual collaboration and communication. Now, about the future trends, strategies, and challenges, which I will urge all of you to read it. It's important. Just get the idea, some ideas there. There's a focus on what we call diversity, equity, and inclusion. Now, it's believed that some organizations are partial. They are very biased. They don't apply the concept called inclusivity in diversity. They don't regard the truth that we are all from different backgrounds, culturally, norms, values, systems, personality, and so on and so forth. We are diverse age. We have now we have the Gen Z, we have the baby booms, all those things. We are not the same. There's some peculiarities with demographics when it comes to people. So HR must increase focus on how to manage diversity, ensure fairness, equity, fairness, and inclusion. It's not because wisdom speaks my language, so HR begins to, there's something, and you see that, yeah. And in most of the time in our organizations, the MDs and CEOs, they have their favorites. So they will just instruct HR, or put this person here, do this, just to put their favorites at good position, regardless of many. So it's a critical priority, not just an important, but it should be a critical priority. Unconscious biases, unconscious. It's believed to be an unconscious bias that they are not aware, but they should be aware when it comes to hiring and promotions. Harvard Business Review talks about it. Critical priority. So there should be metrics for tracking how you are having the diversity, equity, and inclusion progress in your policies, and how you can track them to become a modern standard practice. That's the fourth one. Now, the use of people analytics. The use of people analytics. We have already said that HR departments are advancing. Some have done automation. They have digitalized everything. But then they also need to have programs, systems that support what they do. And those systems or programs help them to have a data-driven decisions. I said earlier that an HR manager or director in this era is not permitted to go for board meetings or management meetings and begin to talk like I think, I propose, I assume. No, it's not acceptable in this era. You must talk with data that 20% of the employees will leave the organization by 2026. 5 is from here, 6 is from here, 4 is from here. So our succession plan shows that those ready to take over the position, we have identified about 10% of them, and therefore requires management permission to do an internal recruitment or external. You must talk with data. It's not acceptable for HR to be talking with assumptions. Even though you do forecasting, when we talked about, we said you should have excellent knowledge of demand and supply of employee needs. Very, very critical. So departments in HR or the HR department must leverage on advanced analytics that will help them to do it. Some of them are built-in systems that help to input and, garbage in, garbage out. What you put in and what you get. So if you put in so the use of people analytics. I think one of your courses is people analytics and something. Like I said, there are tools, provide knowledge, insight into workforce trends and employee needs. Very, very crucial. And what I like about this also is for succession planning. I think I've mentioned to you that HR departments are now being educated to move into mental health issues of employees. I don't have the statistics, but it is seen that mental well-being is becoming a challenge. In the foreign countries, some people are depressed, they are coming to work. They've lost their loved ones, they are coming to work. They have issues. And it's not everybody that's able to even talk about their issues. So organizations are now being reminded to export their support for mental health. I think there's a statistics that shows that many people are mentally sick. The only difference between the mentally sick and the mad people we see is that those who are mentally sick, some of them have not discarded their clothes. And the majority of people have mental issues. They're all mentally ill. But just that we haven't remove our clothes and working on the streets. So we think we are better. So employee well-being and mental health support. I think that the mental health support is very important because if you are worked outside Ghana, in the US, Britain, those places, you see that they don't care about death or anything. If somebody dies here, if you lose somebody, you want to ask permission and go here and go there. That's not their business. Leave the dead to bury their own dead. So someone may be hurt, deeply hurt, but they are going to work. They are emotionally imbalanced. They are going to work. They don't even get time to process the loss. They are going to work. Somebody is just there and the child goes to school and some recalcitrant person goes in, shoots them, and they are going to work. Choose their children. That's all kinds of things. In fact, some of them, they do drug tests. Drug. D-R-U-G, test. That whether you are sniffing cocaine or marijuana or whatever. They do it even before they appoint you. And at every year or so, you go and do it. Your urine should show. So they are there. But still some people do. I know, I heard that a colleague of mine, while somebody is saying something.
No, madam.
Okay, so Wisdom is saying something. That some institutions have policies to sensitize the employees of mental health, emotional intelligence, techno stress, and track incidents for decision making. That is true. That is true. The techno stress is also another thing. Yes, and emotional intelligence. Yeah, they have it. That is good. So how to support the mental well-being of people? Hitherto, it used not to be an important thing. But I think studies have revealed that it's something they need to focus on. So organizations are expanding mental health resources and well-being initiatives so as to reduce burnout and stress. Now, this includes offering mental health days, flexible schedules, and access to counseling services. Now, when you are in difficulties, you can go. Now, emotional intelligence, as Wisdom talk about, it's even the requirements. To be emotionally balanced. You have to be emotionally stable in order to help others. Those who are emotionally imbalanced, the wife slaps him at the house and brings the slap effect or reaction to employees at home. I once taught a class that told me that, one person told me that when they hear the sound of the MD on the compound, everybody becomes steady. If by mistake he's climbing to the stairs, his office, and you cross him, you are in trouble. And they didn't understand why he was behaving like that. So they all got scared of him. Instead of somebody taking his briefcase, they were afraid. So if you hear that he's the one who has come, you are just glued to your PC. And even when he enters your office, you pretend not to have seen him. It did not support productivity. It only created fear and anxiety. And later turned out that he hasn't got mental, he has marital problems. He didn't have emotional intelligence to manage his emotions at home. He was downloading those effects on employees. So that's it. Now, the next one is sustainability and corporate social responsibility, CSR. Now, even HR is supposed to ensure that what they do or the activities support competitive advantage, helps the organization to leverage your competitive advantage. But what is more significant for organizations or companies is to achieve sustainable competitive advantage. Now, it's believed that HR plays a vital role on how to align the employee values with organizational sustainability goals. So if you remember when we did the strategy of the organization and HR has a role to play in supporting the organization to achieve its strategy. And therefore, here HR must ensure that all the organizations, like we talked about, whether their decisions are aligned or not, aligned to support the goals of the organization. Now, HR, you also do green HR. It's part of your course. You do green HR and sustainability or something. So green HR practices, this is where you ensure that you ensure that there's organic issues in HR decisions and corporate social responsibility initiatives that supports the purpose of the organization, that supports the external environment. And now people are even agitating that CSR should not only be giving external put some money to go and support the community it finds itself, build schools for them, build hospitals, support with scholarships and all that. But now CSR is also seen as how the organization intentionally do things that also enhances the work environment for the employees. So we have another one called continuous learning and upskilling. There's a whole concept called learning organization. It's a topic. The organization that learns. And because learning is progressive and immersive learning is required for every human being or individuals or organizations, the organization, the future HR must have an organization that is a learning organization. You know, I've even told you about upscaling. Galloping. It's important that employees also gallop in their learning of new things, new approaches, new processes. Companies are implementing digital learning platforms to support lifelong learning. Of course, technology, HR technology and digital transformation, I mean, we don't even talk about it. It is paramount. Advanced HR now we have cloud-based where we store information in the cloud as streamline processes and enhancing decision-making by Gartner. Virtual reality and augmented reality are also being explored for training and onboarding. Those of you understand them. Now, these days, everything is done using virtual activities or programs. Sometimes we even hear of virtual classrooms. Virtual classrooms. Some of the classrooms that shows that you are even able to have data retained on some portals. So virtual reality and how we augment them are being explored for training and on board. Any question? So if we talk about future, these are some of the things we are expecting you to talk about. Now, if let's say a question on the future of HR, the future of HR must have some of these factors. But as I said, the future of HR, let's say global HR, may not have all these factors as seen as a future trend or future trends. They are already happening in some international organizations, but it depends on how we are in the context. We'll still say that these are the future HR trends that we must look at. Any question? Okay, so that brings us to the end of the entire session, the 6 sessions. But let me do a quick recap of what we have done so far. So we started by looking at some foundations and evolution of human resource management. We said that the course human resource management has evolved over the years. And we looked at definition by Dessler and Armstrong. We said that Dessler defined HR as a process of acquiring, training, appraising, compensation, whatever, to ensure that there's health and safety, fairness, consents. And we said that Dessler, he sees HR as a systematic set of managerial activities, and so on and so forth. And we looked at Armstrong as well, who also talked about systematic and coherent approach to manage people to achieve individual as well organizational performance. Now, in another evolution, we said that HR has evolved over the years. It was seen as a personnel administration, a move to personnel management, and now human resource management. And even now, strategic human resource management, and now talent acquisition. There's so many terms that we used. We looked at the evolution from studies by Elton Mayor, who had the Horton studies, and then other ones and other institutions that also sprang up to ensure that HR becomes what it is today. We talk about the fact that HR is seen as a strategic partner to organizations because they have to plan the workforce, attract and manage and retain employees, plan succession planning, and they are the agent of change. We move on to understand some models that help us to understand the concept HR. And we talk about the matching model. We talk about the Harvard model. There's a model also known as the guest model. We didn't talk about it, but maybe you meet it somewhere. You know the guest model and all that. We look at the aim of HR, which we said that we said that HR has a multi-purpose to ensure that the organization and the people achieve their aim. However, we summarize the aim of HR as organizational effectiveness, human capital management, knowledge management, reward management, employee relations, and meeting diverse needs, and bridging the gap between rhetoric and reality. We talk about all those things. Again, we look at policy. There were 12 goals of HR that was by Cardwell. We talk about that. And we move on to look at what HR, person management, especially the distinctions between HR by using some variables like strategic nature, psychological contract, remuneration, recruitment style, organizational functions, and so on, criteria for success. We also looked at similarities and so on. And also talk about the functions of HR, that they have to provide staffing, they have to look at how performance is done. They also have to assess that they support change of programs in the organization and administrative issues that they do. We explain all that. We talk about nature of business strategy, that there's a rational or classical approach to it, there's evolutionary and also strategic one. So we came out to the fact that all the study shows that HR must be linked to the strategy of the organization. But studies have shown that there are models. In some organization, there's a separation model. In some organization, there's a fit model. In some organization, there's a dialogue model. There's a holistic model. And the best is that there's HR-driven model. We explain all that to you. And that brought us to the end of lecture 1. Lecture 2 will discuss 2 sessions. The first one look at the fundamental concepts, principles, and practice of HR. And we talk about fundamental principles or factors like recruitment and selection, training and development, performance management, career management, and reward management. We even termed it as the HR strategy and said that the business strategy of the organization, if well interwoven with these functions, they will give business results. Another plan is important for the organization. So manpower planning has some requirements that HR must look at factors they must consider when they are doing forecasting. What is the projected turnover, quality and nature, financial resources available?
Doctor, please, your screen is not showing.
Oh, is that so?
Yes, please.
Sorry. So this is the one I'm talking about. So we talk about this. It's not showing.
Yes, please.
Okay. So we talk about trends that when HR is doing recruitment, they should look at the trend analysis and ratio analysis. We said that training is also a process. They must, when they are doing training, they must assess the needs for it, have objectives, and who will deliver the training and do evaluation. It also has needs. They must also do task analysis and competency analysis. And we said the competency analysis always helps to show the competency gap, and you either have training and develop programs to ensure it. We looked at competency profile per position. That if somebody is a training and development manager, for instance, a recruitment supervisor or an account officer, what are the key required competencies? And you must just give weight to them and know whether the person has it or not. As well as managerial competencies, functional competencies, to know where the person lacks training. We said that HR has to build what we call a training matrix for competency development. For each member of the organization, it's not an easy job to know where there's gap to fill in for them. And HR, we again said that to ensure that training is effective, the material for training must be meaningful. You also have to provide for transfer to learning and motivate the employees. Move on to performance management, which is very important, that it fits into training plan. That is after performance. You either will give training, you either give bonus, you either enhance somebody's career and all that. And that is something very crucial because it provides feedback. And if you want to do that, you must define the performance. You must also have an appraising in our organization that sometimes they are irrelevant or subjective standards. There are negative communications, and they fail to apply to evaluation data, common problems. We also said that management process are planned, organized, staff leading, and controlling. However, HR must have policies and practices that involve people, and so they must have their practice and policies must ensure all that. Again, we look at the nature of human resource management as having concern for people, application of management practices, continuous process, upskill process, and so on. And objectives is that the employees are satisfied, their proper organizational structure, the organization is productive, there's development of human resources, and sort of human beings. We also talked about some functions of HRM to the organization. And we categorize them into managerial functions, operative functions and advisory functions. And we explain all that. And we said that when we look at HR at work, we are looking at the acquire people, that's the recruitment and selection training, how they appraise people, how they compensate people, how they listen to the labor laws, labor relations, health and safety, fairness, and all that. Again, we say that the HR has basic concept and the bottom line of managing by getting results. So HR must have a system to engage employees, ensure that their behavior are in tune to the strategic goals of the organization. And we explain line and staff managers and what they do. We looked at HR organizational chart in a large organization. Look at all that. And then in a very flat one or small organization. This is also very dear to me. This is not the same as the future trends. Some aspects, but they have similarities. The changing environment of human resource management. These ones, it depends on how you argue your points. What we first did is the future trends. But the future trends also some of these issues in them. But the change environment of human resource management, we say globalization. Like we are doing now, the hybrid systems and all that. And demographic trends. We even said that now HR roles have changed. It's more strategic. HR is now looking at how to create high-performance work systems, how to measure HR teams' performance, and how to manage with the HR scorecard process. To explain all that. HR is now a professional, more professional, so that certification, those of you who are interested, we say that they are now, then you have to be very proficient in legal issues, very proficient in ethical issues. And that brought us to the end of lecture 2, session 1. So lecture 2, session 2, we delved into now what is the planning, HR planning, recruitment, selection, and placement, performance management, training and development, compensation. And we said that planning looks at the labor supply and labor demand. And the factors to consider, one major one is the budget, the organizational structure, internal factors, as well as external factors, competition, change technology, laws, and regulatory bodies. We'll talk about all that. Selection, how it is done. What is selection? Employer brand, optimize your career page, share company culture and social media, create employee referral, improve your hiring process with data and metrics. You have to have a recruitment plan, which is very important for you to be able to do it. We look at performance management also, the importance of performance management, what performance management is not, the components of performance management, the cycle, the tools, what it stands for, how to set objectives for them, and all that. And then I think we looked at the appraisal and what it does, and the challenges for effective performance, where we talk about the central tendency, favoritism, the halo effect, the horns effect, bias and recency, and so on. Then I think we talk about training and development also. We discuss training, we discuss how to manage compensation, and I think I even looked at the legal components also, the law. Again, we looked at the strategic nature of HR, how it supports the organization to remain competitive. And we dealt a lot about strategy, what it stands for. But the importance of this is that how HR is able to help the organization to remain competitive is one of the things that is of interest to us. How the organization remains competitive is very, very important to us. So strategic HR, the essence of it is how it is important. Now look at this. Strategic HRM and HR strategies. What are the differences and all that? So we look at all these ones and then we look at some theories to back them. Then under lecture 4, we talked about organizational effectiveness, performance, and management. We said that HR has a role to play, especially the balance scorecard, which you have done some work for me to mark. I've not marked them yet. And we look at return on training. And we said that is return on investment on training, very, very important. And we said that it's very important because the organization must ensure that it must have system of assessing itself. And they have to use the corporate performance scorecard and all that. And HR also has a role to play. And we said that the 4 functions or the components apply in all the sectors. However, there's a component, HR scorecard is different. The points or the concept for HR scorecard, that's the only difference you should know. And HR has a scorecard that is different from the organization's entire scorecards and all that. And 5, we looked at career planning. We looked at career plan, succession plan, and talent sustainability. I gave you this scenario, so we can look at it. So we said that career plan is both individual-centered and organizational-centered, and that it's a process. It's a process. And there are individual initiatives as well as organizational initiatives to ensure that you plan your career very well. And then we look at trends like historical or types are historical, organizational, and behavioral. We look at where to get those things from, whether you develop them or you buy them. Succession planning is very important because the organization must replace those who will be leaving. And again, we looked at some advantages and disadvantages. The management development is also important. And we talk about how to attract and retain top talent. The company culture that we discussed, company reputation to attract the best talent to the market, benefits, provide some other benefits, and then professional development and ways to retain them. We said that organizations should identify retention as a strategic issue and develop great people managers and so on. So that brought us, and we just did the last one. So that brought us to the end of this lecture. And I've told you this is the major issues for HR so far as your course is concerned. Now let me come to some areas of focus. In the examination, we will have one compulsory question. The compulsory question will be for 40 marks. Compulsory question, 40 marks. And then you have 4. So section A will be compulsory. Section B will be about 4 questions, and you answer to 30 marks each for that. So you have recently done an assessment on how HR strategies drive business performance using the balanced scorecard approach. It's one area you can focus on. Another area you can focus on is how HR is seen as a source of competitive advantage for organizations. Another area too is to look at how strategic human resource management and HR strategy, what are the difference between them? And how do they ensure organizational sustainability? How many have I said so far?
Madam, 3.
So you also can look at how to attract and retain talent.
Madam, please, we can't hear you.
Madam, please, you went offline for some minutes.
Am I back now?
Yes,
Yes,
please.
please.
I said how to attract and retain talent. So how many?
Please, 4.
Madam, 4.
Yes, please, I'm here.
Of HR functions.
Madam, please, you are breaking. I didn't hear what you said.
I said significance of HR functions. Are you okay?
Yes, please.
Yes, Doc.
Okay, so on that note, I should thank you very much for the interaction we've had in these 6 weeks or so, 6 meetings or so. Oh, did I mention the future trends?
No, please.
No,
Madam.
please.
The future trends to be added. Okay, so I want to thank you so much for your time. If you did not enroll in our program, we will not have students and will not have work to do. So you are our respected clients, and we thank you for choosing GCT to come to school to do your masters. It's really highly appreciated. And I must say that I've learned a lot from you. I wish that you have an extended time to study, but with you is that you should continue to learn. Build skills that will make you an outstanding person. Skills that will make you an outstanding person. Wherever you find yourself, don't stop learning. Learning is immense. You learn all the time. And project yourself well. Where you have some different challenges, learn. These days, at the press of a button, by acquiring skills that will make you very distinctive and very well appreciated wherever you find yourself. So thank you so much for your time. Thank you so much. I've learned a lot from you. Thank you. Yes, Alice and Patricia.
Okay, Madam, thank you. Thank you so much. And I would say on behalf of my colleagues, as the rep for this course, we really appreciate what you've done for us and then the knowledge that you've imparted in us, and then how the interaction has been from day one. We really appreciate it. And then we wish to say that may the Lord bless you and
Amen.
grant you all your heart desires. But we will still come to you as a lecturer and as a mother whenever we need help, if that door is open for us.
All right. All right.
Thank you.
Amen. So, Patricia.
Madam, personally, remember when I met you in the face-to-face class, I told you that you
the
alone,
policewoman.
yes, madam, that you've really motivated me. I told you that when I was enrolling, I was a bit skeptical, but your class alone. So for that, I say thank you. As I sit here, I look forward to further, maybe after this course, I would still enroll with the school because of you.
Fantastic. I'm so
God
happy to
bless
hear
you
this.
so much,
God
madam.
bless you so much. Thank you so
For your
much.
land issue, don't worry. I'll tackle it for you.
Thank
Nobody
you.
will come near the land.
Amen. Said I told you to send me WhatsApp. You didn't do it.
Madam, I'll do that.
Okay.
I'll do that.
Okay. All right. So I wish you all the best. Now I have a
Yeah.
policy. I have a small policy. Anything regarding the exams, if you want us to meet, I don't meet students individually. If you want, there's something you need a clarification on the exams, I will wish that we meet again as a class. I don't meet students individually for exam questions or exam issues. If you come to me for exam questions, exam issues, I will decline. If you come to me as a class that with something area we don't understand, we want a clarification, that one I will honor and come and do it with you. That's my policy. So I want you to take note of that.
All right. Thank you, madam. Well
Thank you,
noted.
madam.
Noted.
So God bless you so much.
Bless you
Madam,
This class
too.
that we have also for, we don't have also for
Dog.
We have
Yeah,
two
madam,
support.
I think let me take this opportunity to announce it. It's quite unfortunate that Reverend has to leave us along the way
Okay.
due to
Huh?
some reasons beyond him. So
Okay.
he has withdrawn. It's quite unfortunate and heartbreaking, but we were trying to handle the issue. We've gone back and forth of it, but the conclusion is that his hands are tied and it's beyond him. It's about, I think, management issues, and he can't do anything about it than to withdraw at this moments where exams is approaching. Yes.
say that he went through.
Oh,
So,
Wish you. I'll send him me his number, right?
madam, I'll do it right away.
And also send me the class list. Do you have the class list or the?
Yes, please. I'll mark today's attendance and then I'll compile everything and send it to you.
Okay, send it to. Oh,
All right.
wish him well.
Yeah, it's not
So,
easy, but I think we have to take it in good faith.
Oh, okay. I'll send.
Hello. Hello, please, Doc. One question. One more question. Please, I want to find out if you are writing face to face with the exams or online. Thank you.
That one. This is my first time, so I don't know. But our regular ones is face to face.
Madam, please, it's face to
Okay,
face.
thank you.
Okay, face to face. Okay. Wisdom says, please, are we going to meet you again in the subsequent sessions? I'm not sure.
Oh, miss you.
You'll be so phenomenal in your approach to lectures. We are grateful. God bless you all too. Thank you so much for those
God
comments.
bless you too, madam.
madam,
Yes.
at the beginning, you promised to bring that your elite friend to have a session with us on the laws, legal relation issues, but unfortunately,
We did.
You brought her. You said you're going to bring.
I was going to bring the friend. Oh, she didn't have the
Yes.
time. Yes. She didn't have she didn't have the time. She didn't have the time. But if you like, when I told she said was busy, she was writing exams.
Okay.
So
madam, would communicate with you, and even if after
communicate with me. Let me ask her this week whether she's done, because it's quite some time, whether she's done the exams. And if you're interested, we can meet with her one of the evenings. I'll just create my own Zoom and then meet with her one of the evenings. If that's okay for you.
Yeah, madam, we are okay.
Yes, it's good to get that information. That's very, very important. Okay. So on that note, God bless you all and thank you so much.
God bless you too,
God bless you too, madam. I'm missing you already.
Alice.
Madam, it's part of.
Bye-bye.
Bye, madam. Please, my research members, let's meet on our page, right?
I thought I saw Umu. Umu, please, are you still in the class?
Yes, my dear, I'm here, Pat.
Oh, Charlie.
Pat, I'm here.
Wow. Please reach out to me on WhatsApp, I beg.
Hello, Pat.
Yes, please kindly reach out to me on WhatsApp, I beg.
I'll do that. I'll do that just now. Okay. Thank you.
Alice, please, are you done with the attendance so you can leave?
Yes, please. I've taken screenshots of it, so I'll mark it and then later I'll send it to the
Alice, please, are you
lecturer.
here?
Please, I'm done. Thank you.
Alice, can you hear me?
Yes, please, I can hear you.
I was asking if you are done with attendance so that we can leave.
Yes, please. I've taken a screenshot, so later I'll look at it and then I'll mark it. So I'm done, please.
Okay, thank you.
I think it's only Baba and Isaac who couldn't join. Now that Reverend is out.
Please,
Where's your
Isaac, tell him that